by the security.
Say the last part.
A song called that. There is a little stuff we
I don't want to be a woman. I don't want to be a lonely solo. Oh, I need something new, bro. Let me go.
This?
It is one. It's a good song. I love country. But I'm falling Latina. Oh, 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 oh. I need to get out of here. I need y'all to let go of the twist, and I'm suing for $500 million. I swear to God. I hope y'all got it. Let me go. No, I was thinking about $1 billion, but I set up for $500 million.
Good shit. Eventually, Daviana appears more relaxed as she asks one of the officers if he'd like to hear a joke.
Okay, shut up. How the hamburgers is water? How do the hamburgers is water? Tea patties. Okay, I know. Why most everyday they have to do this? It's because they talk their way around when they leave the cows in your car. Get it? That's not funny to you either? Oh, you suck. Make sure you write that down. And tell your single friend about it too. Hey, we get a nurse.
My brother's
Say the phone number. Hey, I get a nurse.
But the situation escalates once again after Daviana seemingly attempts to fight a security guard standing at her bedside.
It's like she's a rabbit.
Let me call my dad. No, give me 10, 15 years. I'm pulling all y'all jobs. Let me go. Now. Let me go.
This hospital has to have their security guards fully kitted out like this. This is a dangerous hospital.
I don't give a damn burglary and larceny. And I'm gonna send all y'all on fire. Let me go. I'm all of them stupid.
You're under arrest.
Wellness.
Understood. You're going to go to the station. You're going to see the lieutenant who's going to be in lockup with you. I suggest you behave yourself. Do you understand me?
I'm so sorry, sir.
I bet you are. We're going to get in the car and you're going to go back to the
It
station.
slammed on the ground and all that. I just wanted to talk to y'all. That's it.
The time for
Your public defender. You trying to fight them again?
The nurse administers a sedative, but it isn't immediately effective.
So I'm guessing she's not pregnant. If they had administered a sedative, she would just lie.
My baby's dying. My baby. Try to take this as a promise, but I see on the street you dead.
Stop!
And I killed my daddy too.
What?
Stabbed him 22 times and got away with it. Move. Get up, I shoot him and go with me.
I can help you out with some shackles if you got.
She's still trying to bite him.
Let me go.
She's in her linked up. Security.
Let me go.
Yeah.
Let me go. Let me go. I'll kill all y'all. All y'all got death wish. All y'all. Let me go.
And you know what though? The one thing that I'll say about this is I do feel bad for her in the sense that normal people, no matter how angry or how bad things can get, I don't think anybody here in the chat can get that drunk or that frustrated and result to this. I think her life is her brain is so like mixed up and confused that like she doesn't see the world correct. Like she just doesn't perceive reality right. Like her life must be torture. I can only imagine, like, what is it, that feeling where you take a nap during the day and you wake up and you don't know if it's like sun up or sun down, you're just very confused. I imagine her entire life is just that level of confusion and victimhood. And again, I don't think that we should free her because of this, but I also feel bad for anybody experiencing this type of mental confusion.
It's off now. Take it off now.
She's trying to put... And again, how many government employees and hospital workers have to be here to babysit her?
Let me go now. Let me go now. So you up. I'm gonna beat the out of you. Oh, I'm gonna take. Hell, you know what? I'm gonna kill you and adopt your kids and raise them right.
This
Once
is
the
the
sedatives
wildest
fully
one.
kick in, they resecure the wrap around her body and leave her to rest. After the officer who was bitten receives his own medical treatment, they gather and talk in the hallway.
Now I'm gonna try and shot my
Yep.
first walk.
Yep.
Excited utterance that she had smoked pot in the car while driving. And it smelled like it was definitely potato. Yeah, and it smelled like weed in the car. Okay.
She's out right now.
Insisted to us that she had smoked pot and used fentanyl. Yeah, smoked pot laced with cocaine, fentanyl, and
Oh my
heroin.
God.
I will edit the nightly 11th majors now. Simply Christmas.
When Daviana wakes up, they remove her restraints so she can use the restroom. Given the option to return to the wrap or willingly move to a wheelchair, Daviana chooses neither.
I think she no, but I saw one last loop. That was certain pumps. Yeah, we gave you the option to get up
I
there.
remember Dad used to not even tell to me I'm pregnant.
Is she?
Your leg's not pregnant.
Oh! Get off my head! I'm not wearing it. Get off my head! I'm the eyes! Oh my God! Oh my God!
That can be loose. This is just a protocol.
Oh!
Once she's secured, they roll her out of the ambulance bay, place her in a transport van, drive to the jail, and physically carry her into the holding cell before removing all of her restraints.
So many resources used on this one idiot. Oh, so she is
The police
pregnant.
report makes no mention of the results of any drug or alcohol testing, or the health and status of her
Damn, she
unborn
is.
child.
That's why she fought so much. Just speed ticket. There we go. The streets are safe once again. No one will be stealing vibrators on our watch.
According to court documents, 26-year-old Daviona
Thanks
Lee
for the gift
Robinson
subs.
was charged with misdemeanor larceny, assault with a dangerous weapon, 3 counts of assault and battery on a police officer, child endangerment, and driving under the influence of drugs. She pleaded guilty in July of 2025 and received a 7-year deferred sentence. That sentence was later accelerated following an incident in October that resulted in new charges. In February of 2026, she pleaded guilty in a new case to grand larceny, obstructing an officer, transporting an open container, and failure to use a child restraint. She was sentenced to 18 months in the Department of Corrections, along with 2 concurrent 6-month Tulsa County jail sentences, with credit for time
Oh my
served.
God.
Watch our full videos as they were originally made, with no randomly muted words or details cut. We've also dropped brand new EWU videos available only on EWU Plus. Available now on iOS, Roku, Amazon Fire, Apple TV, and Google TV.
That was good. Bobby just saw put the link in there if you want to watch it. Drop him a like. But it's like that is insane. That at the end of it, what is it? How much time did she actually serve? Other than she was waiting for a trial. So a year and a half, she's a menace to society, and she's gonna get out and probably cause harm to her own family. Like somebody in her family is going to pay the consequences for her failure to secure the kid, take care of her own. Like she's pregnant, so take care of her own newborn by not doing drugs while she's on it, while she's pregnant. Like somebody's going to suffer because the law doesn't have the heart to step in and actually punish her. It was a sad world.
Chevy drivers need a truck that shows up the same way they do. That's why Chevy Silverado is #1 in manufacturer loyalty. So they can go where others won't and always get it done.
Jail and not held accountable, and hopefully they do. I hope they put him in prison, but I don't have a lot of faith in this, especially in Illinois. So
yeah, even more unhinged craziness in this huge Lego scandal with bricks and minifigs has just unfolded. The Utah Police Department that was responsible for a lot of the inexplicably hostile and ridiculous behavior that we talked about yesterday with part 2 from Reckless Ben's investigation, that police department has now sent forth its softest gesture to try and explain their side of things and justify a lot of what's now been put into the public eye. And this guy is so soft-spoken, it is very difficult to even hear him in the first place. This guy must have just had his fucking tonsils removed. So, I'm just giving you fair warning. It's gonna be hard to hear it, but what you can hear is all the bullshit that he's driveling out. And it's so interesting because there have been numerous opportunities now for Bricks and Minifigs and now the American Fork Police Department here to actually start debunking things if there is another side to this, if everyone is being misled by Ben's videos and it's like manipulated footage and out of context to make them all look bad. It's all like this big dubious plot. If that was the case, then why hasn't Bricks and Minifigs been able to issue a response that is trustworthy? Their last response had multiple lies in it that are provably incorrect, especially in regards to the consignment, and there's now been 2 instances of the Bricks and Minifigs top brass going on live stream to try and defend and justify their actions, and it's been a fumble. That has been a fucking floundering of the ages there. They haven't been able to explain their side or debunk any of the claims here or anything. And again, their official statement was lip.
Keeping Mainers safe. Susan Collins also voted for national voter ID, protecting our elections from fraud. Senator Susan Collins, delivering on rural health care, delivering tougher penalties on drug traffickers, delivering on securing our elections, delivering results for Maine.
Hello, your sisters and family have been calling about you. They're calling for us to check on you. They said you got some pretty bad wound on your leg. But you know we're all going to do reporting. You guys have a domestic situation?
It wasn't really domestic. We were arguing, yeah.
Verbal?
Verbal.
And did anything physical?
No.
So where are all these pictures that I'm being told? Like they're willing to send me pictures. Where are all these pictures that they're talking about sending?
Because my legs are cut up.
Why are your legs cut up?
Are you here by yourself?
Are you here?
Do I talk to you? Or do you want to step out here and talk to us?
I'll step out here. My legs are still, I just woke up, so. Yeah, I just woke up and saw the messages
Where's
from
he
my
at?
He took off in the car.
Okay. So where do these cuts come from on your legs? They said it's pretty bad. Yeah, we need to have an ambulance come look at you. We need to send an ambulance for 61. Female with severe lacerations to her legs.
So how'd you get the cuts on there?
You got thrown, didn't you? And you landed, didn't you?
Okay.
Huh? Am I right? Yeah. I've been doing this for a while. This isn't my first time, okay?
Well, your family's concerned.
Your family's concerned about you. So what was the argument? Let's talk about the argument, okay?
You're being honest with us, he's not here?
No,
No,
he
the
has
business not here. So this sounds like it's a pretty common theme that you guys have domestic situations that are physical.
Honestly, this is like the second or third time it's gotten physical.
Okay, so what happened? Why did it get physical?
Well, he's been cheating over the past since July,
Okay.
and we were just arguing about that.
Okay. And what happened to that?
I don't remember.
Alright. So did you send to him? Did he send it to you?
I honestly don't.
How did you get the cuts on your legs?
I honestly don't remember. I was drinking Nicholas Mark.
What's broken inside that you don't want?
No, you can come in and my lamp's knocked over and I got it.
Yeah, I believe it. Looking at your leg, I believe it.
In fact, why don't you go ahead and sit down, that way you're not standing up on it.
Yeah, but it's just like the lamp's knocked over.
Lots of smell of the country air. It smells like home. This looks amazing.
Family is a blessing from God. Anyone would be lucky to have you as their partner.
Hassan Piker and Cenk Uygur have been banned from entering the United Kingdom. They had their electronic travel authorization revoked, which is not necessarily a visa, it's basically a visa. The way it works now at the UK, we used to be able, as Americans, we used to be able to fly abruptly at any minute to the UK. You walk in, show them your passport, and they say, visa waiver, or visa on entry. They rolled out this program not too long ago called the Electronic Travel Authorization, where basically now you go online, you pay $30 to get authorization to travel there, which is not literally a visa. And I think they're doing this because they don't want to step on some treaties. Like the U.S. and the U.K. have visa on entry. So let me give you a quick example of why they didn't want to do this. The U.S. required visas from Brazilians. This is like 10 years ago or maybe 15 years ago. Brazil responded by saying, okay, then if you want to come here, you got to get a visa too. So it's actually not that easy. You got to go to a travel agency or a visa processing place, fill in applications, send it in, and it could take time to get your visa to go to Brazil. For the UK, you can do it online for to get an ETA. It's very easy to do, but it's effectively making you pre-authorize. I think the principal reason they did this is because they have been banning people they do not like politically for some time. Now, Hassan Piker says he's going to be doing a bunch of stuff in the UK. Interestingly, so were we. Now, we haven't really talked much about it, but and because I try to be polite, but we had received an invitation for requesting my participation. I was invited to debate at the Oxford Union on the issue of the Constitution, and I think they've been struggling with it, as not just Hassan Piker and Cenk Uygur are banned from the UK, but I believe it's about 11 or so others who are coming in mid-May for Tommy Robinson's event. So it's not just Hassan Piker, but I will show you what Hassan has been saying about this. Now, the media is saying he's banned from traveling to the UK over comments on Hamas and Israel. And I believe that is correct. I believe that is actually the case. I believe because of Hassan Piker's statements on Israel and Hamas, they have barred him entry. That is to say, some people are coming out saying, no, this has nothing to do with Israel. It's everything to do with the UK being authoritarian and censorious. And I'm like, no, listen. Two things can be true. Tommy Robinson is very pro-Israel. Many of his supporters and people who are coming to speak in the UK are also pro-Israel, but they got banned too. That can be true, and this can be true as well. The issue is, do they find these people to be, what's the right word? I guess, I don't want to say agitators, but in their perspective, perhaps. So again, I want to stress this. This is from the BBC in May. 11 far-right agitators banned from UK ahead of rally, government says. Now, I'm going to say this. I have personally been very careful about UK travel. At this point, I'm willing to say, you know what? I'm writing off the UK. So, I want to be polite. I want to be reasonable. We had Tommy Robinson on the show. I'm a big fan. Tommy's fantastic. And we had him on the show. And of course, he and his team, they asked me to come down. I wasn't, as far as I know, I'm not saying I was asked to be a speaker or anything like that. They said, come hang out. You got to be there for the rally. It'd be a lot of fun. And we said yes. We said yes. And so, talked with my family and wife about it, and we were thinking about plans about going to the UK. And ultimately, I decided, look at what they're doing. This was kind of obvious. I've traveled the world, and I've been to some 38 or so countries. I have gone to Commonwealth nations where I have been briefed by our travel. Like when I was at Vice, for instance, going to New Zealand, they said, you're going to be asked why you're here. The country is very small. Actually, I'll just say it. I'll just get banned from New Zealand. So what I was told by Vice was, you're going to interview Kim.com. You're also going to interview Gareth Morgan. When they ask you why you're there, do not bring up Kim.com. They will deny you entry. And so I said, sure thing. So when I show up at passport control, they say, what brings you, business or pleasure? And I said, business. And they said, what kind? And I said, I work for Vice magazine, and we're coming down to do an interview. And they're like, really? Who with? And I said, Gareth Morgan. They went, really? Yes, we know him, of course. He's a very famous New Zealander. And I was like, yeah, he traveled to North Korea. We're going to interview him about his adventures. And they're like, okay, great. Stamp, welcome aboard. Had I told them, also, wait, let me volunteer extra information, then we don't know that I would have gotten kicked out of the country, but this is something that's very, very common that I've learned. And obviously, there are countries with visa on entry. There are countries with you gotta get a visa beforehand. When you get a visa beforehand, it's actually really easy, right? When I went to Brazil, you get a visa before and they put it in your passport. You walk right in, they look at it and say, don't know, don't care. You got a 10-year visa. And so you just walk in. You don't got to explain yourself. Now, here's the issue with the UK. With all due respect to Tommy and his team and everybody who was involved in that major rally, which was tremendous, by the way, ultimately we decided you know, look, if I try filing for an ETA to travel this week, I'm gonna get banned. And we had, you know, some potential UK travel lined up. Not to mention, we received an invite from the Oxford Union to debate the Constitution. The question being that that Donald Trump has betrayed the Constitution. And so we were like, okay, absolutely fantastic. I have danced on eggshells around these UK invites because of this, and because we knew this was going to be the case. So let me get to the news, and I just want to stress, I'll play the video of what Hassan has to say. I want to stress, Hassan's not a good dude. Hassan doesn't like me, I don't like him, that's fine. But how the are you supposed to debate ideas in the Oxford Union when the country has banned the ideas you're supposed to debate? Michael Knowles says he's even more excited to attend now. And I'm just sitting here being like, Michael, like with all due respect, big fan, you know, you're a good dude, but who are you going to debate? Like, it's going to be like WWE. Hassan Piker is the guy, not the only one, but he is someone you want. Listen,
oh no!
Be mad, don't like Hassan, all of these things, that's fine, but my point is this. Hassan's got a massive left-wing audience. You want to challenge him on these issues of Donald Trump and the Constitution. So you know what, we'll read this, and then I'll give you a little bit of that here. But if there, you know what, I'll say this. I opened this invitation to Hassan Piker, though I'm not confident he'd be willing to accept. Let us do our own event, where we can both completely disagree with the UK's decision to revoke your visa. And I know there's a lot of people who like that it happened. You know, I made a joke about it. I said, which country should ban Hassan next? America, the US, the United States. It's a joke. The point being, it's ridiculous the UK is just trying to ban their way out of their own social collapse. I think Hassan's got very bad ideas. I think they're dangerous. I think he's espoused calls for violence. But you want to debate it. You want to get access to his audience. You want to be able to speak those ideas to the different people who, many of them won't like it because debates really are just kind of silly. But we have to at least have those conversations. So I invite Hassan. Why don't we put together an event in the DC area and we do our own debate over these issues of the Constitution, as well as the influence of foreign governments and the U.S. and Israel included on the decisions of other countries. I think that would be a lot of fun. I think that would be a service to our audiences. But let me show you what Hassan had to say about it. I believe I've got his video right here. It's a couple minutes.
Left-wing YouTube pundit Cenk Uygur banned from entering the UK. Yeah, it's okay. Well, I didn't want to talk about it, but my visa has also been revoked. We just found out.
I don't like those kind of war battles, though.
Yes, I will not be going as it stands currently. I don't believe that I'll be able to go to the United Kingdom this upcoming week.
Palmer's Cocoa Butter Formula, Shimmer Radiance.
I don't know who to reach out
Dramatic entrances.
for this.
Summer's here. Who's ready for camp in a new Toyota?
I was supposed to do something with Yanis Varoufakis, do something with Zach Polanski, do something with Jeremy Corbyn, do something at the Oxford Union, and now the Labour government has revoked our visas. Go to Ireland? Okay, guys, it's not about fucking being in the vicinity of the UK. I was supposed to do shit in the UK.
Being in the vicinity of the UK. Everything is fake. Fake.
What's the truth about Nirav Shah? Shah was appointed by a Republican mega-millionaire in Illinois and failed. Democrats called his mistakes the height of irresponsibility and negligence. That's not all. Shah worked for a union-busting firm that sides with big corporations over workers. Now, Shah is getting donations from Big Pharma, private equity, and super PAC spending from a group that wants to defund our public schools. It's a prescription for disaster for Maine working families.
No!
Don't rank Shah.
No! Son of a... That's okay, I still got their tower. They didn't get mine.
Mary's coming. I don't know what to say.
defeat Israel. We'll secure the city. Without further bloodshed.
The Queen has many dragons. But her subjects do not feel safe. Nor should they.
See you in mercy. But the crown is awaiting them.
Now he's just sitting there.
A sad state of affairs, where obviously the interests of Israel take the highest priority.
I think it's fair to say that the interests of Israel play a factor in this, but it's not the only factor. Because I was thinking about this, and I'll show you a little bit more. The first thing I just want to add as an aside is I don't understand how people watch a show with so much dead air. That's just me. That's just me. You know what I mean? It gets a lot of viewership because I can't stand dead air. So I talk fast and I talk a lot. And for podcasts, like, you know, he does these live streaming, but he'll like pause and just sit there, and I'm like, how do you listen to this? How do you have this on? It's just like that gap gets me. Anyway, the thing about Israel, let me show you this from Glenn Greenwald. He says, note the UK government just banned entry of 2 American citizens, Cenk Uygur and Hassan Khan, not because they criticized or worked against the UK. It was solely because they criticized and opposed the one country deemed sacred and off limits in the UK, and so many other Western countries, Israel. The UK under Labour is also regularly arresting its own citizens for peacefully protesting Israel's genocide in Gaza. This is all driven by the dynamic that caused the Trump admin, as one of its very earliest top priorities last year, to force U.S. universities to expel American students protesting Israel, to deport others who merely criticize Israel, and to implement aggressive speech codes to protect Israel from common criticism. Why does this one small country command special elevated supreme status and attention in so many Western countries? It's way past time to give that question the attention it deserves and to finally put an end to it. We have a response here from Haviv Retigur, who says it's a lie. I mean, it's Glenn, so of course it's a lie. The UK government hates the Israeli government, and in fact has also banned members of this Israeli government from entering the UK. It also just banned speakers who were meant to speak at Tommy Robinson's rally from entering the country. This is why I've been dancing on eggshells over planned trips to the UK, waiting to the very, very last minute. Because, guys, I don't do things, I'm not going to intentionally try and get a visa to, you know, a country that's going to ban me, you know what I mean? Like, I could apply for a Chinese visa and then get rejected and go, oh, heavens me, and then make a big story about it. No, the goal was to actually go. And so, I gotta be honest, we're sitting here all discussing it, and we're pretty sure that I will get rejected if I try to go to the UK. And I'm like, feels like a coin toss. I'm not the most contentious of personalities, you know, I was invited, but I kind of think they'll probably just say, no, you can't come. Anyway, they're all wrong. They're all wrong, okay? Let me put it like this. Hassan saying that he's banned because of Israel, well, that's technically the truth. Israel plays a role in this. It's really about, I guess what I would describe as destabilizing forces in the perspective of the UK government. What I mean to say is, Tommy Robinson's supporters, largely pro-Israel himself, pro-Israel, they ban him because it's disruptive to their control structures. Hassan is the same thing. Now, this question was asked by Glenn Greenwald, and I'm going to answer it literally and correctly. Why does this one small country command such special elevated supreme status? Western influence, Western military might
how when it comes to like the really big
Israel, and in
stuff,
turn, Israel lobbies against their own countries. And against is a fine way to describe it, for their interests. The U.S. wants command and control in the Middle East. Western powers do as well. They want to control the natural gas, the oil, etc. So Israel is effectively a forward-launching base for Western interests. When they say, oh, they're our greatest ally, yeah, it's so cringe. It's so cringe. Listen, Israel's a country. They do things that are deemed worthy of criticism by many, many people and should be criticized. This, you know, and the supporters of Israel are going to defend all of its military actions. I don't care for Israel. I really, really don't. I am the United States, okay? I am not Israel. I am not a citizen, nor do I think we should have dual citizens. Should we have people serving in the Israeli military if they're American citizens? I don't think anybody in the United States citizen should serve in any other military, period. That being said, it's about, are you outside the Overton window the government's like? Hassan Piker is a disruptive force. So they say plainly and clearly.
That was about the dumbest freeze.
Criticism of Israel does play a role in this. It is disruptive to Western military operations, and I think everybody understands with, what happens to Martin Luther King Jr. and, and others, John Lennon perhaps. What happens when you're a prominent, popular, and disruptive force? I'll put it this way. It is dangerous to be right in the areas where the government is wrong, as they say, right? To put it more plainly, because there's a biased element to that statement itself, when you are at odds with the government, they will defy you. It's just that simple. And so I think this is why Hassan Piker is being denied entry to the UK, as well as Tommy Robinson's. Because I'll put it this way: how do you parse this? Let me get this from the BBC. This is from only a couple weeks ago. This is May 15th. 11 foreign far-right agitators have been blocked from entering the country to attend a rally organized by anti-Islam activist Tommy Robinson. Thousands are expected to join the United Kingdom event on Saturday, which they did. It was massive. The Metro Police anticipated one of the busiest days in recent years. In a statement on Friday, Sir Keir said, "We are in a fight for the soul of this country, and the United Kingdom march this weekend is a stark reminder of exactly what we are up against. Its organizers are peddling hatred and division." Plain and simple. Okay. Well, I'm going to put it like this. My team, I got an invite to Oxford Union to debate the question. They said, this House believes that Donald Trump has betrayed the Constitution. And actually, do I kind of pull that or something? I don't know. And I tread very lightly on, let's see, I don't know. I don't care much. I have a team for all of this stuff, so I don't even know where the email is. I want to see what they do. Whatever, I'll have to find it somewhere else. Okay. So anyway, that was the gist of it, and we had discussed, okay, how do we do this? Because the concern is, they're going to tell me, nah. You know what I mean? They're going to say, no. Well, anyway, whatever it may be, I'm not going to the UK. I'm not going to go to the UK. And I don't think I'll be going there anytime soon, as it is. So I will just say this. Let me show you Michael Knowles' tweet. GB Politics says far-left activists Hassan Piker and Cenk Uygur have been banned from entering the UK. He says, "I was already looking forward to debating at the Oxford Union this week, but now I'm positively delighted." He was asked, "You support censorship?" He says, "Very much so, in the right circumstances." Yeah, and it's a stupid question too, because so do I. Everyone does. And it was like this very naive thing where conservatives were getting censored.
Okay,
and so all of a sudden everyone's like, censorship is bad. And it's like, no. Censorship includes,
son of a...
child abuse material.
Yeah! No!
Violence. We all agree there are some things that
I'm gonna have to send in these hogs.
The concern is mainstream,
goblins,
highly held, highly popular political views being censored. It's dangerous because then you create factions of people with political power
They're gonna win by points. They're gonna calculate the points.
So you have 70 million people in this country willing to vote for Donald Trump, and you censor all of that speech. Now you're in dangerous territory. And look, if you censor like 1,000 people think the moon is made of gold or something. It's like a random conspiracy. Like, it's not even, you censor them, it's bad because that idea isn't like dangerous or anything like that. But it's not as big a deal. It's not as big a deal. Still bad. If you've got someone who's advocating for harm to children, now it's like, okay, we don't care for your ideas. You're not part of the debate. But this always means there's going to be a socially accepted Overton window. What I will say is, I disagree. Someone said MAGA is so effing dead, it took less than 2 years to piss it all away, just said. And Michael said, MAGA is when we support Hassan Piker. Cool, interesting, I'll take that under consideration. Yes, sometimes. I don't like Hassan Piker. I think that when he advocates for violence, ban him outright. But if the question is, you want to debate the Constitution, which I don't know what they're debating. That's what we were asked to debate. How are you supposed to do it if the most prominent individuals influential on the left are not going to be welcome to do it? I mean, Cenk Uygur himself also very prominent, and Cenk's kind of like he's a progressive, but he's like, I don't know, how do I describe the guy? He's a bit boorish, oafish sometimes, but he's not Hassan. He's not. He yells and he goes, and he's like kind of obnoxious, and that was okay. I do that too sometimes. I think the debate with Cenk Uygur is fun, fantastic, and I can't believe that he's actually banned from the country. So let me just say this. My view, probably why I was asked about the issue of the Constitution, is that there isn't one. And I mean this wholly. And a lot of people don't like it, but people always tell me this. They say, I believe in the Constitution. I'm just like, no, you don't. Which one? Which Constitution? A Constitution is what constitutes. Chop the Wade stocks, by the way. A Constitution is what constitutes a people. And this country right now is split. This is a country with two. A nation with two countries, or a country with two nations. I forgot how you describe it. I think a nation is its people, and so it's a country with two nations. The multicultural democracy and the constitutional republic. So people say, no, I believe in the real Constitution. Okay, let's go for it. Blasphemy was illegal up until like 1840. So the founding fathers said, free speech, freedom of religion, but you better not blaspheme against Christ our Lord and Savior. You go to jail for that. And people did all the time. Blasphemy was illegal. Then you have the Second Amendment. In 1789, the interpretation of the Second Amendment was that the federal government could not send military forces to take your weapons, but the states could. That's different now. Now the federal government supersedes the states. In fact, it's true for most things. Interestingly, I saw a post about this morning. It said the only applicable constitutional amendment that has not been incorporated into the states is the seventh, the right for a law to sue. Seventh Amendment, of course, one of the best is you give a right for civil lawsuits in the event. I think it's like $20 or more.
Yes.
The Seventh Amendment, the oft ignored. It guarantees to a right to a jury trial in federal civil cases, protects a jury's findings in fact from being overturned by judges, ratified in 1791 as part of the Bill of Rights. I believe, let me pull it up because I think it's $20. Yeah, it's $20. In fact, then $20 is a big deal. Now it's not. In Susa Common Law, wherein the value in controversy shall exceed $20, the right of trial by jury be preserved, and no fact tried by a jury shall be otherwise re-examined in any court of the United States. Let's do this. $20 in 1791 compared to today. What's the buying power? $700. So that's still crazy. They're basically just saying, like, now petty stuff we're not interested in, but if it's at least by today's standards, $710, then you can sue over it. So anyway, my point ultimately is this, as it pertains to all of this debate stuff. Like, you get my principal point. I'd like to have a debate with someone actually on the Constitution. I don't want you to ban the people that are actually influential among the left in this country. Who am I debating? Am I going to debate Michael Knowles and have us agree on those things? So the point is, I'll give you my view. I think the left uses the Constitution as a flag. They don't actually believe in it. They don't care to understand the interpretation of the Bill of Rights, let alone, let's just be real, the Constitution is not the Bill of Rights. The important thing, okay? Let's pull up the actual Constitution of the United States, right? The Constitution of the United States is, what is it, how many articles is it? It's, I think it's 3, what is it, 7 articles, and then each article has subsections. And the articles of the Constitution are actually what is most important. And it lays out the framework for government. So let me pull this up. The preamble, Article 1, which Article 1 is is Congress. Powers here and granted vested in Congress, representatives. Then it mentions the Senate, and then you have Article 2, which is the executive power. Article 3, the judiciary, of course. Then you go into Article 4, faith and credit to the state, to the public acts, records, judicial proceedings of every state. Oh, it's 4. Wait, what is it? And the Congress made general laws prescribing the matters such as records. See, this is the thing that people don't ever actually read in the Constitution. They're like, the Constitution must be defended. They're talking about the Bill of Rights specifically. The articles and the structure of government are a component of it. A person charged in any state with treason, felony, or other crime, who shall flee from justice and become another state. I mean, this is important too, because like one of the only criminal codifications. Article 5 is, of course, when the states can amend the Constitution itself. The Congress, whenever 2/3 of both houses shall deem it necessary, shall propose amendments to its Constitution, or 2/3 of every state. Article 6 is all debts contracted and engagements entered into before the adoption of the Constitution shall be valid against the United States under the Constitution, as under the Confederation. Basically saying, like, hey, we're still the same country. Article 7, the ratification and conventions of 9 states shall be sufficient for the establishment of this Constitution. Isn't that crazy? And then, of course, you have the amendments, for which there are currently 27. No law varying the compensation for the services of the senators and representatives shall take effect until an election of representatives shall be intended to be blah, blah, blah. So here's my point. The Constitution cannot be betrayed. It can't be. It cannot be. Because the Constitution, unfortunately, died a long time ago. And you may not want to hear that, but it's true. If you believe that we should have a right to keep bear arms within all states, territories of the United States, you are defying the will of the Founding Fathers. They'd be like, whoa. Honestly, if you were to take the Founding Fathers in 1791, time of ratification, and argue McDonald v. Chicago, I have a right to keep and bear arms in my state under the federal constitution, they'd say, whoa. No. The states are sovereign. They're going to be like, don't you know what the 9th and 10th Amendments are? Bro, are you even listening? They're like, we do not want to live in a country where the federal government tells the states what to do. The enumeration in the Constitution of certain rights shall not be construed to deny or disparage others retained by the people. 10. The powers not delegated by the United States to the United States by the Constitution, nor prohibited by to the states, are reserved to the states respectively or to the people. Let me give you the quick gist. 10th being the most important. If the United States Constitution does not have that power, it's reserved to the states to handle. The U.S. Constitution set forth a federal framework, and the states were sovereign in every other respect. Blasphemy. I ask every conservative, do you think that someone should be thrown in jail for saying Christ is not king? Christ is not Lord? And they, some people say yes, don't get me wrong. Almost all of them say no, of course not. Okay, well then you would be defying the will of the Founding Fathers at the time of the ratification of the Constitution, because it was a crime. Blasphemy was overtly illegal. I think it was until like, what was it, 1838 or something? When was blasphemy made legal? Let's see, 1952 is when they officially recognized it. It's interesting. Wow. Blasphemy has never been made legal. It was historically decriminalized as courts recognized religious speech protections. In the U.S. Supreme Court, they legalized blasphemy effectively in 1952 via Joseph Burston, Inc. versus Wilson, ruling that sacrilege cannot be banned under the First Amendment. Now, isn't that crazy? I believe the last guy to be jailed over it was in like 18-something. Let me see if I can find this. I don't know. Okay, whatever. So, you can say to me, no. The Constitution says, listen, this is my point. This is the point. The Constitution is whatever a popular group of people wants it to be. They try to make the argument that abortion should be protected under the Constitution. And it's just like, they try to argue the 14th Amendment right to abortion. And I'm not even kidding. It's like, you can't deny women's rights. Like, what are we talking about? They're adding abortion to the constitutions of their states. You know what I mean? My point ultimately is this. Abraham Lincoln did not have the authority to suspend habeas corpus. Let me show you actually.
At Blue Seal Farm and Home, we believe in the kind of life that's built around family, community, and the passions that make every day meaningful.
Habeas. The privilege of the writ of habeas corpus should not be suspended unless when in case of rebellion or invasion the public safety may require it. They say no bill of attainder or ex post facto law shall be passed, blah, blah, blah. This is, my friends, this is, was it Section 9? Section 9, Article 2, I believe it is. Article 1. I'm sorry, Article 1, right. All legislative power granted and vested in Congress of the United States. Congress has the power to suspend habeas corpus, not the president. And Abraham Lincoln did it anyway, and then after he had his enemies removed from power, threatened, cut off, like basically the Confederacy's gone, so all opposition to him is removed, the remaining pro-Union Congress retroactively voted to allow Abraham Lincoln to violate the Constitution every way he did. How about them apples? He threatened to put a sitting Supreme Court justice in prison. He had federal forces arrest sitting members of the Maryland legislature. And we celebrate. The American people celebrate the actions of Abraham Lincoln. So come to me and tell me that we have a constitution, and I'm going to say, which one? Which one? What I will tell you is, there are two different distinct body politics, as I said, in the United States right now. Conservatives largely agree on their interpretation of the Constitution, and progressives, in my opinion, are just pretending they care about the Constitution because they'd rather just tear the whole thing down. The truth is, when someone says I support the Constitution, the question I have for them is which one? The one that Abraham Lincoln took a dump all over? Hey, look, I gotta be honest. I think it's great that the North won. I think he did what he had to do as a strong leader. I and this country is better off for it. But let's just be real. He had no authority to do half the things he did. And, you know, what are you gonna do? This is the reality of government that people need to recognize. Abraham Lincoln defied and betrayed the structure of the United States to preserve the Union. And he is considered to be the most popular president in the history of this nation. No joke, when polled, people say he's the best there ever was. I think it's because most people would rather do nothing and let someone else take charge so long as they can live their lives. And that's why we see monarchy in so many places. People are like, well, you know, I'd rather someone else just do it. As for it is with the UK, I don't expect to be going there anytime soon. And that's why we've kind of like, I drag my feet on all of this stuff. We don't do any announcements. I didn't come out and say, I will be in the UK. The presumption is if I came out on my show and said like, hey, I got invited to Oxford Union, we're going to be heading to UK this week, we'd get banned instantly. So at this point, I don't know. I don't think we're going. We'll see though.